We'll start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Tattvabodha by Shankaracharya, a very basic text for all beginners. Many people want to enter spirituality. They want to understand the Veda, but they don't know how to go about it. Unless you come to a traditional school where there is a teacher, there is an acharya who takes you on a graded basis, a systematic study of the Veda. The very first text which is taken up in a traditional school of Vedanta is Tattvabodha. Tattvabodha gives a very broad outline, a framework for the study of Veda. So far, we have seen the qualifications required for a student. Then we saw what is the nature of the individual who wants to study. There we discussed that the individual consists of two components. One is the atma component and the second is the shariram component. Either you say three sharirams or panchakosha or three avasthas. That is the broad nature of the individual. Atma means consciousness, awareness principle. Now we have embarked on the total, samashti. Individual is called as vyashti. The total universe is called as samashti in Sanskrit. So we started discussing this total principle, how creation comes about. Creation is a very, very important subject matter in all philosophies. Ultimately, we have to give answers to what is this creation which I am experiencing. You may study the individual, but you cannot forget the total, because we are a part of a framework called creation. So that is the study we are doing right now. I will go directly to where we stopped last time, which is verse number 21. Let's see how Vijaya chants this.
Etesham panchatattvanam samashti sattvikamshat manobuddhyahankara chittantahkaranani sambhutani sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha nischayatmika buddhihi ahamkarta ahamkaraha chintanat kartruh chittam चिन्तनः कर्तृः चित्तम् मनसो देवता चन्द्रमाः मनसो देवता चन्द्रमाः बुद्धेः ब्रह्मा अहङ्कारस्य रुद्रः चित्तस्य वासुदेवः.
This is an important verse in the Tattvabodha because it defines what is the antahkaranam. Antahkaranam in general means the mind. But then it is not only the mind, but it is also the ego, it is the intellect, and it is the memory. These are the four components of the internal instrument, antahkaranam. What is bahya karanam? Bahya karanam means external organs. Our eyes are bahya karanam. It is the instrument. The five organs of knowledge and the five organs of action are together called as bahya karanam, external organs through which the individual jiva functions in the world. Now, these are all the instruments. Without these instruments, you cannot function. So, you have to make a difference between the user of an instrument and the instrument. Suppose I'm driving a car. Car is an instrument. I use the car, it is to drive from one place to another place. But I'm not the car. So I am someone different than the car. Similarly, the organs of action, organs of knowledge, and the mind instrument, they are all external to me. They are outside atma. Atma means consciousness, awareness. Now, how does the mind come into origin? What is the origination of the mind? Very beautifully said in the Veda. Earlier we said that nature or prakriti consists of sattva, rajas, and tamas. Sattva means knowledge, rajas means action, tamas means inaction. That means it is neither knowledge, neither action. Tamas means generally inertness, inertia. So that is the broad classification at the top level, which is called as prakriti, nature. Now, all the five elements, they are formed out of this prakriti. Prakriti is a subtle matter. Now, we have seen the five elements and what are the organs they produce. Last week, we analyzed that. Here, what the Veda says is, in the five elements, there are sattva elements, rajas elements, and tamas elements. What we are studying is now the sattvic component of the five elements. Individually, each of them, they form the organs of knowledge and the organs of action. But all the five elements together, They form the sattvic element of all the five elements. That means that sattva of the earth, fire, air, water, space, all the five elements combine together, and then they form what is called as the subtle body. This happens. This is the way the Veda tells us how the creation is. Now, all the sattvic aspects together, they form the mind. They form the antahkarana. The mind requires all the five elements. In the mind, there is a air component. In the mind, there is a fire component, small, subtle. Because why do we say so? The mind has to control and coordinate all the five sense organs. So if the master must be able to control the eyes, the ears, the sound, the taste. So mind has to function behind the ears. For example, if you are in a class and suddenly your mind is thinking about the office or what you're going to eat after the class, then the mind is gone. Mind is not behind the ears to listen to the class. So now you can see that the function of the mind. Mind is required for your organs of action and organs of knowledge to function. Mind collects the five stimuli. The world reaches the mind through the sense organs in the form of perceptions. These perceptions are converted as thoughts in the mind. This is how perception takes place according to the Veda. Very, very scientific analysis. How we perceive the world. So what we have to understand here, that the mind is a very subtle component which is invisible in nature. Nobody can see his mind, but everybody knows the mind. That is, I do not see your mind, but I know that I have a mind because the thoughts in me are known to me. Thoughts are known by atma, which is called as sakshi. The spiritual matter, the spiritual content in the body. There is no other light which can illumine the thoughts. Suppose you say, I know I'm thinking about my future. Or suppose you say, I know I was angry. I know I have these emotions running in me. Who knows that? It is not the mind itself knows the emotion. The sense organs cannot know the emotions because sense organs are outer compared to the mind. The only thing which can know the mind and its functions is the atma. This self can tell you how beautiful Tattvabodha is. When we study at Tattvabodha itself, we can know what is atma. Atma is visible, but it exists. The mind is a coordinator for the ears, eyes, nose, skin, tongue. Because it is a coordinator, we can feel, hear, smell all through our mind. One instrument which is called as the mind or antahkarana can help us to perceive the whole world. Now, this mind is sattva guna. Sattva guna means it is subtle in nature and it is formed out of the organs of knowledge because mind primarily is knowledge oriented. So, from the total of sattva guna of the five elements, mind or the inner organ is formed. Inner organ has got four functions. For example, 10, 20 years ago, there was an instrument called as tape recorder. It had a radio, it had a cassette recorder, it can replay, and you could even put a compact disc and listen to music. So it is one instrument having four functions. Similarly, one antahkaranam has got four different functions. The functions are called as manaha, buddhi, ahamkara, chittam. For example, a person, he is called a managing director in a company. He is called a secretary of an organization or an association. When he comes to Veda class, he is called as a student. When he is at home, he is called a husband. So all these names which are given to the same person according to the role which he plays. Similarly, according to the role which the antahkaranam plays, one instrument is given four names. Manaha means will, buddhi means intellect, ahamkara means the ego, I, which we keep on saying. I got up this morning, I went to sleep. That I is called as ego I. Chittam means memory. Now, Shankaracharya defines each of these four components. What is the mind? Sankalpa, vikalpa, atmakam, manaha. Sankalpa and vikalpa. Thinking in one way and thinking in another way. I want to attend the class. I do not want to attend the class. The mind keeps on being a pendulum. That function, which is a pendulum type of function, which goes in two different directions, is called as the mind. Wavering. Sankalpa means pros and cons, vacillation, doubting. I doubt whether there is going to be rain today, or I doubt this class is good or bad. This mind also includes emotions, passions. I want to excel in music. It's a passion. That is a component belonging to the mind. Buddhi. So one part is manaha. The definition of manaha is sankalpa, vikalpa, weighing the pros and cons. Buddhi means the intellect. Same in inner organ is called as intellect. When is it called an intellect? It is called intellect when it is a determining function. Decisive faculty is called as buddhi. Nishchaya atmikam buddhihi. Nishchayam means taking a firm decision. I will get married. It's a firm decision. No, I want to remain as a student for some time. I want to remain a bachelor. That's also a decision. I want to go for a PhD program. It is a decision. It is all oriented towards the buddhi. Ahamkarta. Ahamkarta is the definition of ahamkara, the sense of individuality. The I notion, the ego factor is called as the ahamkara. So you say, I was upset in the morning. Now I'm fine. Who was upset? That I, when you say, it means it is a function of one portion of the mind, which is the ahamkara portion. So this antahkaranam is a very, very important instrument for all of us. It decides our whole life. Whole life we are only working with our one instrument, mainly the one instrument, which is called as the antahkaranam. Vedanta helps us to understand this functioning of the mind more and more clearly when we study Upanishads. Because ultimately we have to reach the level of sakshi, witness of the mind. What is the definition of atma? It is sakshi of the mind. So as you grow in personality, in the spiritual personality, as you progress, suppose you keep on listening to Veda. Many people have done that. Suppose you listen for 3-4 years. What is the change you will see? The change you will see is you will find that the mind has developed a lot. The mind and the witness consciousness, there is a distance which has been built. Before the study, there was no distance. You took yourself as the mind. After you do the study, see, whenever we want to use an instrument, we must know how to use we must study the manual. Suppose you want to use a camera or a mobile. You must know how to you use a manual to operate a car or a mobile or a laptop. Similarly, Veda is the operational manual to know and to understand the mind. It is the mind which tells, I am the body, I am the mind. Ahamkara tells, I am this body. Ahamkara says, I am the mind. And I am suffering. I have emotions. I have sorrow in life. It is what is saying this in the body? What instrument is saying this? It is ahamkara. So the identifying faculty is called as ahamkara, I, the I notion. It's only a notion. It's only a thought. What happens to this I notion in sleep state? This I notion goes to sleep. There is no longer I in the sleep state. As soon as you wake up, again the I comes in, which means what? Mind stops working in the sleep state, deep sleep state, not the dream state. The mind starts working again in the waking state. When the mind starts working, we see the world we see the world of the five elements, the five sense organs. That is the world. What Shankaracharya says is, it is you try to go beyond your body as you experience in sleep state. There is no mind. When the mind is not there, world is not there. World is dependent on the mind. Beyond the mind, there is something called as awareness, consciousness. That consciousness, atma, you are. That is the final teaching of Tattvabodha. Next comes chittam. We have seen what? Manaha, mind, buddhi, intellect, ahamkara, ego, and the last portion is chittam. Chintanakarta, chittam. Chintanakarta means what? Recollection. I recollect what happened when I was 10 years old. Recollection is called as anusandhanam. Okay? Quite simple. Memory. The memory function is called as chitta. Now, Tattvabodha and also all the Upanishads, they say that behind all our organs of action, organs of knowledge, and the internal organ, there is a power which runs these organs. There is a controller. It is called as the Devata. We have seen last week the Devatas, the controlling powers for the sense organs, organs of action. What about the internal organ called the mind, buddhi, all that? This verse tells us that there is a controller of the mind which is called as Chandrama. Lunar means connected with the moon. Many people, if you carefully observe, especially the emotions of people, you will find that this emotions, this is the study done by the rishis. What they have found is our emotions are directly linked with the waxing and waning of the moon. See, ultimately, we are all made up of 5 elements. The moon is also made up of the 5 same elements. So there is a connection. So mind has got a devata called as Chandrama. Buddhi has got a devata. Ahamkara has got buddhi is basically controlled by Brahman. Brahman is married to Saraswati, knowledge. So buddhi is buddhi is Brahma. Brahma is the buddhe Brahma. Manaso Chandrama. Ahamkara Rudra. Chittasya Vasudeva. So these are the 4 deities which are said in the mantra itself. So what we are trying to see is, we are trying to understand that it's not that I have full control over my mind. Only very small partial control we have. So, but the devatas, they are the controllers. But ultimately, devatas, how do they control? As per the prarabdha karma. Whatever the body is designed for, it will go through those emotions, it will go through those thoughts, it will go through those experiences. That we will see at the end of the Tattvabodha. How prarabdha karma, the result of all our past actions, they decide how this Lord controls through the karma phalam. Okay, next. Ahamkara Rudraha. Rudra means Shiva, Lord Shiva. He controls I. The ego in us is responsible for a lot of problems in life. I keep on telling myself, oh, I did this, but then you don't understand when you say I did this, the same I is also enjoying the karma phalam. Whatever you have done, the same I which did the action also has to enjoy the result of action. But the result of action, it is not in my hands. It is in so many factors are there. So whenever I wake up, the first thing which I come to realize is this I. Many people, they fight. Even wars are fought only because of this ego. The ego is affected. Therefore, they even go to war. They fight at many times. Even at home, you can see children fighting. It's the ego. I said this, you said this. I said this, you said this. The fight goes on. I did this, you did this. Again, the fight goes on. Vasudeva is the deity which controls the memory. So, the antahkaranam, the inner organ, is born out of the samashti sattva guna. Okay, that is clear. Now, next comes the rajas aspect of the Maya Shakti. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas together is called as Maya. Let us understand what does Rajas do and how does the prana in us, how does it born? All those we are going to study. The Rajas aspect. What does it create in them? There are two verses, 22 and 23, which talks about Rajas.
एतेषां पञ्चतत्त्वानां मध्ये आकाशस्य राजसांशात् वागीन्द्रियं सम्भूतं वायोः राजसांशात् पाणीन्द्रियं सम्भूतं वह्नेः राजसांशात् पादेन्द्रियं सम्भूतं जलस्य राजसांशात् उपस्थेन्द्रियं सम्भूतं पृथिव्या राजसांशात् गुदेन्द्रियं सम्भूतं एतेषां समष्टिराजसांशात् पञ्चप्राणाः सम्भूताः.
Okay, so it's a very simple verses. Earlier we said sattva component produces the jnana indriyas, and each element is responsible for one organ, organs of knowledge. The rajas aspect of the same five elements creates the organs of action. What are the organs of action? Space, it creates primarily the speech. Air creates hands. Fire creates legs. Water creates the genitals, and earth also the genitals. Now, samashti means the totality. In the case of sattva, we said the total of five elements together form what? Mind, antahkarana. The total of rajas aspect of the five elements, what does it create? It creates the prana, the breath, the air component, which we inhale and exhale. See how beautiful is our structure in the Veda. How the Veda takes up the entire world and then how it designs the entire life for us with the help of this structuring. So the Rajoguna aspect, Rajoguna means what? Action. The prana is active throughout our life. It gives us the energy to conduct all the activities of our life. The prana shakti must be behind our speech. The prana shakti should be behind our digestive system. It should be behind my legs to run, to walk. So, what controls the jnana indriyas, karma indriyas, and the antahkaranam is the prana. Prana means what? We have studied this before. Prana is always it is divided into five portions according to the place where it functions. Prana is responsible for the inhalation, exhalation, which we call it as the respiratory function. Apana is the excretory function. Vyana is the circulatory function which goes throughout the body. Samana means digestive function which is in the stomach. Udana means it is in the throat and it is a reversing function. Suppose you want to vomit, it is Udana. And of course, one more function of Udana is when the jiva wants to leave the body, it takes the help of Udana to eject out of the body and go into the next body. So, Rajoguna at the Vyashti level, Samashti level, it is the panchakarmendriyams and the pancha prana. Sattva guna, jnana indriyas and antahkarana. So totally how much have you seen? We have seen 5 plus 5 here 10 and then 5 plus 4 9. 19 items are born out of the panchabhutas. These 19 are called as Sukshma Shariram. So, what is Sukshma Shariram? Subtle body. All these are subtle. Indriyams is subtle. Subtle means what? It is not the gross eye which we see. It is not the golakam. We are talking of the power behind the eyes, the power behind the ears, the power behind our mind, the power behind our legs. We are talking of the subtle power, which consists of 19 factors. Chaturvimshadi Tattvam. 5 elements plus the 19 organs together constitute 24 principles born out of Maya. The 19 we have seen. What we have not seen is what we have eliminated, what we didn't consider before is the 5 elements. So when you include the 5 elements, the entire universe is composed of these 24 principles. What about the gross body? Gross body is created out of the tamasic element. You see, I told you right at the top is Maya. Under Maya is sattva, rajas, and tamas. Under sattva, you'll get all these five elements. Rajas, again, five elements. Again, tamas will have the creation born out of the tamoguna. So, what are the four stages of creation? Subtle elements are created first, then the products of subtle elements, which is the indriyams and the mind. Then the gross elements are created from the tamoguna of the five elements. It's the same five elements. The sattva portion creates the other, whatever we have seen, jnanendriyas. Rajas portion creates the karmendriyas and the prana. Tamoguna of the same five elements, they grossify, and then we are able to experience the body. So, subtle elements, subtle power. Gross elements creates the gross universe which we are able to see. What is the process of grossification? We will see now. From subtle, how is the gross? What is the grossification process, which is described in two verses, 24 and 25.
एतेषां पञ्चतत्त्वानां तामसांशात् पञ्चीकृत पञ्चतत्त्वानि भवन्ति पञ्चीकृत पञ्चतत्त्वानि भवन्ति पञ्चीकरणं कथम् इति चेत् पञ्चीकरणं कथम् इति चेत् एतेषां पञ्चमहाभूतानां तामसांशस्वरूपम् एकमेकं भूतं द्विधा विभज्य एकमेकमर्ध पृथक् तूष्णी व्यवस्थाप्य पृथक् तूष्णीं व्यवस्थाप्य अपरमपरमर्ध चतुर्धा विभज्य स्वार्धमन्येषु अर्थेषु स्वाभागचतुष्टयसंयोजनं कार्यं तदा पञ्चीकरणं भवति एतेभ्यः पञ्चीकृत पञ्चमहाभूतेभ्यः स्थूलशरीरं भवति
Okay. Now, so we have finished sattva portion of Maya, rajas portion of Maya. Now we are looking at tamas portion of Maya. From the tamas aspect of the five elements, the grossification takes place. Even the tamoguna, the tamas aspect has a subtle component. From the subtle component, grossification takes place, and then the body is formed. The body, which is made up of five elements, is grossified five elements. The world which we see, mountains, rivers, it is all the grossified form of five elements. What happens in the grossification process is explained in these two verses. I'll explain to you with the diagram. It will be easy for you to understand. Each of these elements, subtle elements, is called as tanmatram. Subtle element is tanmatram. Then one tanmatram of a portion of that element gets first of all divided into two. And then the half portion gets divided into four components. The four components are joined with the other elements. Okay, let me show you the diagram. It will be easy. See, this is the first portion. The first level is tanmatra. Each element of space, air, fire, water, earth is complete by itself. It is like this. It's divided into the first thing which happens. These are all evolution which happens in the world. The element space gets divided into, let me take one portion first. Let's take the example of space. I'll go vertically down. So, in the nature, first what happens? Space gets divided into two halves. Then the split becomes complete when there is a dark portion and a lighter portion. The dark portion again splits up into four parts. One half remains intact. The other portion, the light portion, gets divided into four parts. So in each element, there is one part which remains the same. And each of these parts, each half, is married with four bits borrowed from other four elements. Now, these four elements which you see, these four circles which you see, it is coming from air, space, fire, water, and earth. So half space, half air, half fire, half water, half earth remains half. That half portion remains. Then it combines with 1/8 portion of air, fire, space combines with air, fire, water, and earth. Air combines with space, fire, water, and earth. Fire combines with space, air, water, and earth. Water combines with space, air, fire, and earth. So similarly, this is how the grossification takes place. So there is one, before grossification, it is a pure tanmatra. Element is purely air or fire or space or water or fire. So, but then when it combines with the other four, then it is called as grossification. So gross space is half space and then 1/8 of all other four components. Gross body is created by this combination. Gross body is created out of the grossified five elements. Gross world is created out of the grossified five elements. So Panchasthula Bhutani and its products are the products of grossification. So what is the whole creation consist of? Four stages. Sukshma, that means the subtle element and the subtle elemental products. Gross element and gross products. The individual consists of five elements plus both in subtle form and grossified form. Okay, so this is what we have studied. I've got a few slides for revision portion. Whatever I have not covered or whatever is important, I will tell you. Otherwise, we'll run through this. So Maya is called as the seed of the universe. That is the seed of the universe. Nothing to do with the consciousness. Consciousness is always there. No change in consciousness. Change happens only in Maya. And together, Maya and the consciousness is that mixture is what we call as creation. So Maya is the seed. The whole universe existed in a seed form before it evolved. What we see today is a grossified world. But then what Veda says is, for this gross world, there was a seed form. That seed form of the universe which we see today is called as Maya, or is called as Prakriti. These are Sanskrit names for nature. And what are the products of this Maya, this nature? The subtle universe and the gross universe. So how do I understand the universe? You have to understand in three stages. There is a causal state, subtle state, and then gross state. Causal state is called as Maya, seed stage. The sprout like a seed. Then the seed gives rise to what? The sprout. The sprout is called as the Sukshma Prapancha, a subtle body. The plant is called as the Sthula Prapancha, gross. Plant, the moment you come to the plant stage, plant is plant and tree. Together we can say plant is subtle state, tree is the gross state. Like seed stage is there for children. Then the children are born. Then they become adults. At the adult, when they become adults, it is the fully grown seed. So there is a fetal form, baby form, adult form. At the micro level and macro level, there are three forms. What are the three forms at the micro level? Micro means individual level. Shariram, body level. At the body level, there is a causal, which is Karana Sharira. We have seen this before. Causal body, subtle body, gross body. CB means causal body, SB means subtle body, GB means gross body. Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira. Then macro level, at the total level also, what do we find? There is a causal world. There is a subtle world. And there is a gross world. Okay, so that is about how panchikaranam takes place. Panchikaranam means grossification. Next, we'll study a little bit more of the cosmos.
एवं पिण्डब्रह्माण्डयोः एवं पिण्डब्रह्माण्डयोः ऐक्यं सम्भूतम् ऐक्यं सम्भूतम्
We have studied the microcosm now. We have studied the macrocosm. Both are made up of 5 elements. Together it is called as Pindandam and Brahmandam. Brahmandam means macro. Pindandam means micro. Both of them are inert in nature and they are made up of 5 elements. They are matter principle. And this matter principle is always changing, continuously changing. The stars are changing, the planets are changing, the galaxies are changing, the earth is changing, the winds are changing. Continuously. That is the nature of Prakriti. That is the nature of matter principle. But throughout this, there is a changeless principle which is called as Atma or Brahman, pure consciousness or awareness. You should never forget the hero of Tattvabodha. The hero of Tattvabodha is Atma. The inner content of this entire universe is the spiritual content which is called as Atma or Brahman. Now, at the individual level, we call it jivatma. Jivatma. At the macro level, we call it param atma, bigger atma. Small atma, big. So, what does the world consist of? Jivatma and paramatma. Whenever I am seeing the world, any whether it is the dream world, whether it is the waking world, or whether we are in the sleep state, it is always jivatma paramatma. Now, what the Veda reveals is something very unique. Nowhere else you will find this knowledge. It says that there is something which is uniting this jivatma and paramatma. The individual body and the microcosm and macrocosm, ultimately they have one nature. There is oneness in them. That oneness is the nature of atma. You remove the word jiva from jivatma, remove the word param from paramatma, what remains is common between them is atma. The entire study of Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and Brahma Sutra, which is called as Prasthana Trayam, is the study of this atma, which is the common denominator between the microcosm and the macrocosm. See how beautifully Shankaracharya develops this entire study of Vedanta. Next, what we are going to study is how does this oneness come about. The entire subject matter of this oneness is discussed in 5 verses, and that is from verses 27 to 31. It is slightly technical in nature. I will explain to you this oneness with the help of the slides, and then I will tell you how one can experience the oneness within ourselves. Because this oneness is the central theme of all our study in the future. So try to pick it up. Even if you are new to Vedanta and study of these texts, doesn't matter. But try to pay attention to this portion because this is very, very important. A lot of our future study, whenever you study with whoever you study, it will always be related to this oneness between jivatma and param. Let's see how to chant these verses.
स्थूलशरीराभिमानी जीवनामकं ब्रह्मप्रतिबिम्बं भवति जीवनामकं ब्रह्मप्रतिबिम्बं भवति स एव जीवः प्रकृत्या स्वस्मात् ईश्वरं भिन्नत्वेन जानाति अविद्योपाधिः सन् आत्मा जीव इत्युच्यते मायोपाधिः सन् ईश्वरः इत्युच्यते एवम् उपाधिभेदात् जीवेश्वर भेददृष्टिः यावत् पर्यन्तं तिष्ठति तावत् पर्यन्तं जन्म मरणादि रूप संसारः न निवर्तते तस्मात् कारणात् न जीवेश्वरयोः भेदबुद्धिः स्वीकार्या
Okay. So, what does the world consist of? Microcosm and macrocosm. Microcosm is called as the body, causal, subtle, and gross bodies. Macrocosm is causal body, subtle body, gross. It's called as prapancha. Prapancha means the panchabhutas. From the microcosm and macrocosm, both are inert by nature. What powers this inert world consisting of the micro and macrocosms? The power behind that is called as atma. Only one power is there. That is what is the oneness between micro and macro. Now, how does this oneness happens? That is what is described in these verses. What it says is that pure atma is called as Brahman at the totality level. Brahman. The word Brahman, keep it in mind, is nothing but pure consciousness, pure awareness. It can exist by itself, but whenever it wants, whenever it creates, or whenever we see the world, its power is manifested in the world. For example, we are seeing the world now. That means it is the power of this Brahman which is manifesting as the world. So what it says here is whenever there is a experience of the world, it is a reflection of that pure consciousness. Is the reflection comes in the micro and the macro. At the micro level body, it is called as jiva. At the macro universe, it is called as paramatma or ishvara. Is there a difference between the jiva and the paramatma at the experience level, at the gross? Yes, there is. They are different. Jiva is a small one body. Paramatma is many bodies. So, what we learn from this is, even though experientially we see the differences in the world, ultimately there is only one unifying factor between these two, which is the consciousness principle. As you go by in the slides, you will slightly understand. Now, at the level of Brahman, at the level of awareness, there is no, like for example, the sun. Sun does not do any transactions. But below on the earth, we see there are so many transactions. So the three pairs of the mediums which are there, which are manifest consciousness from Brahman, they are reflecting mediums. For example, suppose you keep a mirror and there is a sunlight. We have seen this many times. In this, for example, there's a dark room and there is a sunlight and there is a mirror which reflects the sunlight into the dark room. So when the mirror reflects that light into the dark room, this dark room gets illuminated. So similarly, consciousness, when it pervades the three universe, causal, subtle, gross universe, and the bodies, when it pervades, means when it gets reflected, the three sharirams, the gross, subtle, and the causal, they are called as reflecting mediums. Medium means this. There are two reflecting mediums for the gross, individual and the total. Similarly, for the subtle and for the causal. So all these six reflecting mediums, 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6 reflecting mediums, they constitute the world. Inert body and inert world do not have sentiency. Sentiency is borrowed from consciousness or atma. Atma lends consciousness to the body and body borrows consciousness from atma. In Mandukya Upanishad, these reflecting mediums are given names. Causal body is called as prajna. Subtle body is called as taijasa. Gross body is called as vishva. At the micro level. At the macro level, names are given. For the causal universe, the name of the reflecting material together with the consciousness is called antaryami, hiranyagarbha or virat. You need not remember, for those newcomers, you need not remember all this, but just as for those people who are Mandukya Upanishad, this will be useful to you. Tomorrow, on Sundays, I take the Mandukya class. This one chart is the entire Mandukya Upanishad. So there are 6 mirrors which are reflecting the consciousness And that reflection which we experience through our mind is called as the world. Reflecting medium is inner, the three bodies and the three prapanchas. There is a micro reflection, macro reflection. What is micro reflection? For example, individual, I have a mind. In my mind, I have thoughts and emotions. That is an individual experience of a micro reflection of consciousness. At the macro level, there is a reflection of consciousness because at the macro level, there's a gross world which is functioning. At the individual level, micro, a small body is functioning. At the macro level, there's a big body which is functioning. So if it is a small body, it will be small reflection, big body, big reflection. Big reflection is called as Ishvara. Small body is called as Jiva. And as a small individual, I have limited knowledge. But at the cosmic level, Ishvara has got unlimited knowledge. So whatever we experience in life, Vedas say there is a moral law, cosmic law, which is functioning in the world. There are physical laws in the universe. That is the subtle body of the universe. We have laws controlling our mind at the individual level. So at the individual level, microcosm and the macrocosm, it is the same Maya Shakti, that Maya power, which is controlling the individual as well as the total. Jiva has got inferior qualities because of inferior medium. For example, suppose you take a convex mirror, you will see one type of reflection. If you take a concave mirror, you will see another type of reflection. Reflection is due to the appearances are due to the medium, but the light which is behind is one and the same. Suppose you remove the mirror, then you cannot even experience the original face, original consciousness. This is what happens when we go to sleep. When our mind is active, when the mind is awake, we see the world. The mirror is on. Therefore, the dark room is illumined. The dark room of the world is illumined for me. Suppose I go to sleep. For me, the world ends. Shifts from one body to another body, mind. It goes off to another body. And again it starts working. So where there is a medium called the mind, experiences are possible. Suppose you remove the mirror and look at the original consciousness, not the reflected consciousness. That is what is called as nirguna atma. Nirguna means what? The same atma, pure consciousness, with the maya three gunas is called as saguna, with gunas, which is the world. There is another aspect of this atma or consciousness, which is called as nirgunam. Nirgunam means there is no distortion in the consciousness because there is no medium. When there is no distortion, it is called as Brahman. So when I try to say, I am that original consciousness, awareness principle, then what do you say? Aham Brahma Asmi. I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am not this causal nature of my which has got punyam and papam and all that. I am that pure consciousness. That pure consciousness is ever free from. So, Jivaha and Ishvaraha, at the Jiva level, there is ignorance. It's called avidya. At the Ishvara level, it is Maya. But Ishvara knows that he has got the higher nature, which is Nirguna Ishvara. Jiva doesn't know that there is a higher nature for me. So I come to Tattvabodha to learn what? Not to learn my subtle body, gross body, and all that. These are only the stepping stones to understand that there is oneness between me, the whole universe, and that oneness is nothing but one atma. Jiva is inferior, Paramatma is superior, but it is all due to the medium of body and mind. Atma is named as jivatma, Atma is named as Paramatma. Suppose I know that I am that consciousness, that is what is called as moksha. I drop the distorting mediums and own up the original awareness consciousness as my nature. The good, the bad are attributes of the mind. For example, I have sorrow. Don't say I have sorrow, say sorrow is in my mind. Attributes are not my real nature. When I identify with those attributes, it is called as adhyasa. Adhyasa means what? I superimpose the attributes of the body and mind on me. For example, body is born, I say I am born. Body is mortal, I say I am mortal. But really speaking, I am not the body or the mind. I am the awareness, consciousness principle. The whole life journey of a seeker is to drop the attributes as anatma and hold on to the pure atma as his original nature. The upadhi means medium. The body is an upadhi. It's a medium for transaction, but it is not me. I am someone different than the medium. I am not the body, I am the consciousness in the body, which is aware of everything. Paramatma's definition is one who has got mayo upadhi, one who has got rajas tamas at the cosmic level. Because he is Ishvara, he is called as Sarvajnaha, means he is all-knowing principle, because he is behind all the minds. He is Sarveshwaraha, Sarva Shaktiman. Sarva Shaktiman means he is all-powerful. He can create anything. Sarva Kalyana Guna Kalaika Nilayaha, omniscient, omnipotent, all compassion, everything is Ishvara. But for us, for me, it is opposite. Why is it opposite? Because it is limited in nature. This oneness, which exists intrinsically between the jiva, the individual, and Paramatma, the total, that oneness, aikyam means oneness. This oneness, the moment you discover this oneness within your own self, then it is called as moksha. See, we talked about four purusharthas: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. The ultimate goal of all living beings is to discover this oneness, to discover that I am the pure self. Today we are all thinking I am the body, I am suffering, I'm because of this distorting mediums. The original face is undistorted version. In sleep, I don't experience the gross body. But I, the consciousness, am illumining even the sleep state. So the original consciousness, original face is called as Atma Chaitanyam. It has no inferior or superior qualities. It is pure awareness, consciousness. But it manifests as the jiva and paramatma, as this micro and the macro. Micro with the micro medium, macro with the macro medium. I drop the inferior attributes of myself. I drop the superior attributes of the cosmic self, and then I own up the attribute-less atma as my real nature. Since the differences are only superficial, I can know and I can understand and I can negate them, falsify them. Even after the knowledge of oneness, you will still live in the world. But then what will happen to you? You will say, I am Atma, the ever non-changing principle in this universe. But suppose I don't have this knowledge, I will be called as a jiva suffering throughout the life. The differences are only superficial, they are not factual. It is a misconception we have in our own intellect about divisions in the world, about so many other problems which we see in the world. How to remove this misconception? That is what is our study in Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads. Tattvabodha only tells me that this is the blueprint of my spiritual journey. If I know this, I don't have any birth at all. I have body gets born, body dies. That is a different matter. But it is not, I'm not attached to that. I am the atma, which is the never changing principle. Always remember, atma means it is always pure nature or consciousness. The next topic is, what is that atma? How should I inquire about that atma? What is this mahavakyam? You are that. When the teacher tells me you are that consciousness, how do I understand this sentence? That oneness, when I get to understand in my own intellect, gives me the fruit of knowledge, which is moksha, freedom from limitations. This topic we'll take it up next week. And the topic is inquiry on mahavakyam. Mahavakyam is a sentence which removes the distortions in me and makes me own Atma as my real nature. Okay, very nice section. We'll see next week. So we'll close the session for today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamathaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll see if there are any questions on the chat box. A few questions are there, which I'll try to answer. Okay, the first question, for external object, I am able to understand what the substratum, conscious Brahman, and superimposition names, etc. But for the internal objects like mind, thought, can we say awareness of self would be the substratum? Superimposition would be the feeling? Yes, you are right. So, Satish Kumar, the first portion, what you have said is the superimposition, internal superimposition is all these feelings, emotions, and all that is internal. So, I am the atma. So, what should you say? I am the atma. These emotions are external to me. They are superimposed because of lack of knowledge of atma. Before I came to Tattvabodha, I used to say these emotions, I am emotional, I am angry, I have got passion, I have this jealousy. All this I related to me before coming to Vedanta. But the moment I understand in Vedanta, I consist of two portions. One portion is the Atma, which is always pure, and the second portion is the mind. External body is just a house for the mind to come in every day, work out all the whatever the mind wants to experience in the world, it experiences and again goes back to sleep. So the external body is only a house. All the heart, the lungs, it's all made up of, it's just an external body created by Ishvara. For what? The main component in the body is the jiva, the mind, which is undergoing all the sukham and dukkham, sorrow, enjoyment in the life. We don't know that there is something called as atma, which is the illuminator of the mind. Okay, I'm going a little far ahead. I'll just restrict to what we discussed today in the class. Can we say the events happening in the world is caused due to mind of the macrocosm, Brahman? No. Events in the world, Brahman being Brahman without Maya has no impact to it. What is happening? Okay. What your second part of the question will be answered towards the end of the Tattvabodha, where we are going to discuss the law of karma and how events take place in the world. Now, events take place in the world at the individual level, at the cosmic level. At the individual level, events normally are experienced by our mind. Individually, I enjoy sorrow. I have enjoyments in the world. I have sorrow in the world. That is at the individual level. There are some cosmic events like a war. That is at the cosmic level also there are certain laws which are applicable. So when you say it is the mind of macrocosm which is causing the event, mind is that means what you are saying, it is an event caused by Ishvara. A tsunami, for example, or floods, earthquake. These are all at the macro level. I mean, aeroplane crash. I mean, at the individual level, nobody, when you enter a plane, you don't know. You are going off on a normal way, but things happen. So there are things which happen which is not in my control at all. All those events, we call it as Ishvara's law of karma, which is active. Now, I hope you have understood this portion. Brahman being Brahman without Maya has no impact to it of what is happening as okay. As jivatma is among aiming for moksha, does Paramatma also aim for moksha? No, 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 no. Paramatma doesn't aim for moksha because Paramatma knows his swarupam. There are two words about this atma: swarupam and swabhavam. Jiva does not know the swarupam. He doesn't know that I am the atma. So he lives his swabhavik life. Paramatma knows his swarupam as Satchidananda Swarupa. So Swarupa means Sat Chit Ananda. Swabhava means Maya. For Ishvara also has got Swabhavam and Swarupam. His Swabhavam is Maya. He knows his Swabhavam is this entire creation of Maya Shakti is his Swabhava. For him it is Swabhava. So he creates this world every day for us. See this Maya, it is an eternal world. For all of us, we see this world, it is continuously being there. There has to be someone behind this creation. That someone is Paramatma. But it is his swabhava it is his nature to create the world. But he knows, Paramatma knows his nature as I am ever free from creation. Whereas Jiva doesn't know this. Jiva thinks that he is this body and he suffers. So he has to shift from his Swabhavam to Swarupa. Very beautifully mentioned in Kathopanishad Bhashyam by Shankaracharya. Whatever I now between Swabhavam and Swarupam is said by Shankaracharya in Kathopanishad Bhashyam. And so this is the things which we should know about Jivatma and Paramatma. See, whenever we talk about Ishvara, we should know that he is Ishvara because he has got superior attributes. Aishwaratyam. He knows how to create the world, how to resolve the world, how to sustain the world. That is Ishwaratvam. I don't know all that. I am a limited jiva. I also see I don't even know my nature as Atma. The moment I come to know my nature is Atma, I am free. Exactly like Paramatma is free from creation, I am also free from this creation of this universe, which I am experiencing as my real nature. See, for Paramatma, he knows it is a false world. It is only a Maya Shakti. That's all. Maya is relative. It is there. It is like a magic show for Ishvara. I can go on and on and on, but anyway, I'll stop here. Satish, have I answered your question? Are you clear a little bit now? Shanmugam, you can unmute everybody so that they can answer. Yeah, Satish, are you there? Yeah, Satish, I can see your name here. Yeah,
Yeah. Hello. I am able to hear me.
yeah. Go now. It's okay. Yeah,
Yeah. I got it. Yeah, I understood it. Yes.
thank you.
Thanks.
Rajiv, what happens after moksha? Good question. Nothing happens. Moksha means it is a state in which you are there. Pure existence, pure ananda, pure consciousness. What they say about moksha is you abide in your swarupam. That is your swarupam. Swarupam means it is my nature, higher nature. I have a lower nature, which is this body, mind, and all this world which I'm experiencing. The same jiva, he says, I am atma. Internally, there is nothing happening outside. It is an internal transformation where the jiva enjoys jivan mukti. Moksha means what? Experience of jivan mukti. Jivan mukti means what? Jivatva mukti. Jivatvam is this ahamkara. I'm enjoying the world. I'm suffering in the world. I'm doing all this. I'm karta bhokta. All that is dropped for a jnani who has realized his self. For him, what happens? Moksha, it is if you become a jnani, I'm just assuming Rajiv, you become a jnani one day, and what will you realize? You will realize I was nitya mukta swarupa. I was always free. I was never this body at all. I was ever the non-changing principle, atma, the pure consciousness principle. All the events which have come and gone are like a dream. So even the waking state, you will take it as a dream world. It came last week. I enjoyed something. Yesterday I enjoyed. Morning I enjoyed something. Tomorrow it will be different. So it is like a dream which comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. This waking state also will become similar to a dream. That is what Mandukya Upanishad says. If you attend the Sunday classes, you will get a lot of clarity on what I'm telling you now. See, as pure Atma, the moment your intellect is able to just get this is where the purity of the mind comes. The more you keep on listening to this Tattvabodha, Atmabodha, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, or keep on listening, what happens is your mind, which was gross before the study, becomes subtle and subtle and subtle, and you realize that pure state is my real state. Nobody has to come and tell you. You only rediscover. You remove the covering and then you discover that I am the pure self. That discovery is called as moksha. I mean, I can talk on and on. Rajiv, have you understood a little bit?
Yes, Shekharji. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Guhan is saying all karma phalams are due to to be experienced only at mind level and not at the atma level. Yes, you're right. See, karma and the karma phalam. Karma is done at the body level. Karma phalam is experienced at the mind level. The mind experiences joy and sorrow, joy, punyam and papam, joy and sorrow. Whenever there is a good things happening in your life, You assume that there is a punyam which is being fructified. Suppose you are having some difficulties in life. Life is always a mixture of punyam and papa. Some days you will find I am very happy. Some days you will find I am very sad. Now, this punyam and papam, nobody has control. It is the nature of the body and the mind. So to answer your question, yes, karma phalam to be experienced at the mind level, not at atma level. Atma doesn't have punya papam. Nirvana Shatkam. All the mantras of Nirvana Shatkam says, I am not the body, not the mind, I am the Atma. Atma doesn't have the body. Atma doesn't have mind. Therefore, we say Atma is ever joyful. Ananda Surupa. Because there is no sorrow for Atma. Atma is ever free. That is why we say it is Nitya Mukta Surupa. Nitya Mukta Surupa means what? I am ever free. It is a wrong notion in my mind that I am this body. I was born, I am the body, I am suffering. It's a notion. Study helps me to remove that thought. And in its place, bring the thought, I am the Atma. It is a gradual process. As you study more and more, you will find that the mind, which was very, very heavy, full of problems before, slowly that mind will become subtler and subtler. A day will come, you will be able to drop the mind and merge with Atma. That merging with Atma, through study only, through study and understanding, Shankaracharya makes it very clear. Understand the Veda and realize yourself. Understanding. Intellect has to be used. You have to keep listening to the Veda correctly. The more clarity you have on the Tattvabodha and the other texts, your mind becomes purer and purer. And as I said, one day the same mind will say, I was ever free. I assumed that I had these problems. What about problems? Financial problems. These problems are at the Vyavaharika level. See, one more thing which you will learn you will learn when you learn the Upanishads. At the transaction level, there will be no change. There will be change at the mental level, at your own mind level, which will rediscover the mind is not the mind, but it is the Atma. That Atma is at a higher level. It is called as Paramarthikam. I'm just using a term. Paramarthikam means it is a higher nature. There is no corridor between Atma and the anatma, body level. For example, waker and dreamer. There is no corridor which links them. The moment I wake up, dream is gone. Dream is taken as false. The moment you wake up to this Atma, you realize that the entire waking state is just a mithya. Mithya means what? It is there for experience. It is not factual. What is factual? Paramartha Satyam, Atma is factual. Good. Guhan, have you understood what I said?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Basically, what you are saying is, since the mind is the better of all pabas and punyas,
yes.
It is also it is justified that it suffers at that level. The
Correct.
sooner the mind realizes it is more towards the atma and not towards the body, we attain the steps towards the moksha.
Exactly fine. That's correct. Perfect. Very good, Guan.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else has a question? You can raise your hand and then you can ask.
Secretary, this is Manikandan.
Yeah,
I
Manikandan,
have
go ahead.
one clarification. The five elements are inert principle, but how it can have the sattvic element? It is because of Ishvara's or the Maya's, not Maya. It's Ishvara's grace. It is having the sattvic element and form the antahkarana.
Okay.
Means
See,
these five elements are inert.
yeah, the five elements are inert. By nature, they are inert. The five elements are used by Ishvara, the sentient principle, for creation of the world, for the jivas to come and finish their punya papam and the law of karma. So the world which we are seeing and experiencing is the three gunas. Chapter 14 of Bhagavad Gita, if you study very well, you will understand world is nothing but the three gunas, which is sattva, rajas, and tamas. Now, who creates this sattva, rajas, and tamas? It is Ishvara only. But sattva is also required in the world. Rajas is also required in the world. Tamas is also required in the world. It is a part of the grand design of the world. Ultimately, it is Ishvara only who creates this world. It is his swabhava. It is his nature to create the world where the nature, the jivas bodies, they come, they exist, and then they come back again. That is the law of karma is happening. But so, have I answered your question? The sentiency, the knowingness, the awareness is not a part of the world. That is a part of Ishvara. It is sentiency is a part of Ishvara. He lends it to the jiva. Jiva just borrows the sentiency and then he conducts the vyavahara. For example, every day in the morning I get up. I become a sentient jiva when my mind wakes up. Mind gets a reflection of Ishvara and then I do the transactions. Again, I go back to sleep. Again, I become almost inert. My body is lying there. I don't even have any feelings of the body. Again, next day morning, again, I enter the body as a jiva. Again, experience. This is the nature of the world. So, your question is, sattva is also created by Ishvara? Yes, it is created because sattva guna is important in the world. It's very vital. Without sattva guna, we can't have any knowledge in the world. Whether it is worldly knowledge or any knowledge, we cannot have without sattva guna. So we are all a mixture of these three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Rajas makes my body active. Sattva makes my mind understand the world. The knowledge of the world is all because of sattva guna. Am I clear?
Yes, my understanding is that the sattva is knowledge portion, and the inert, the five element is inert. So this mixture is possible only because of the Ishvara. Otherwise,
exactly, you're right. Yes, you're right.
Okay.
The five elements by themselves are only inert. They can create the world. They can do all that only with the help of reflection of Ishvara. That sentiency is borrowed by the five elements so that we can experience the world. By themselves, they are inert. The five elements are inert by themselves. Inert means what? They cannot act by themselves. It is only when, you see, this is a very subtle technical portion of the Vedanta where you talk about reflections and all that. Basically, it means that the power behind the entire universe is that sentient principle. which we call it as a Swarupam of Ishvara, Sat Chit Atma. So I have
Thank you,
to understand the Swarupam of Ishvara as Satchidananda. I have to understand my Swarupam also as Satchit Ananda. Knowing this oneness between Ishvara and myself as Satchit Ananda Swarupam, which is discussed very beautifully in Taittiriya Upanishad, knowing that oneness, I can drop my jivatma bhava and then claim Brahma bhava. Dropping jiva bhava and claiming Brahma bhava is moksha. It is discovering my real nature. As I keep learning, you will find this discovery and all that is only words. Ultimately, it just happens. It just happens in a flash of a moment. You will discover what Veda says is the truth. It just happens as you keep listening. What will happen is one fine day you will discover, oh, the three states are mithya. Three bodies are mithya. Whatever I'm experiencing is mithya. Satyam is atma. I am that satyam. Veda teaches me, and I can easily understand this intrinsic nature of mine. It is not the external nature. External nature is the body. Body undergoing the world experiences, that is the external nature. Good. Okay. Anybody else has a question?
Secretary, I have another point in this. So as you mentioned now, I feel like the mind is sentient. And now I understand that through this Tattvabodha that the mind is the five elements is only appearing as this mind. So it's basically it's a inert material, but the sentiency is coming from the Ishvara. So if my mind is thinking that not mind, I'm a sentient being, but only because of associating with the mind, I'm thinking that I am the mind. So if I clearly understand the mind is the material and the sentiency is not belonging to the mind, then I think we can. This will help us because to drop the mind is the one we are struggling to dissociate ourselves with the mind. So thank you, Secretary. I think this explanation helped me to think that the mind is separate from me. Otherwise, the separation of the mind and ourselves is the biggest challenge what we face every day.
Perfect. You see, this is one of the very important steps in the spiritual journey. This question of a seeker, how do I differentiate between the mind and me, is a very big challenge for all seekers. And knowledge about the mind, knowledge about I, the Sakshi, the moment the seeker gets it clearly, very clearly, and this clarity will come only by listening. And like what Manikandan is saying, yes, now I have the knowledge that mind is nothing but the five elements. It is subtle body. It is made up of panchabhutas only. It is still inert by nature. But then I am feeling it as sentient. Mind is not inert for me. For me, it is sentient because it is thinking. It is acting. It is able to have emotions. But where does that power of sentiency comes to the mind? I am that power. I am that consciousness which makes the mind sentient. Mind by itself is inert. For example, in the sleep state, mind goes off and joins with the heart. Prashna Upanishad says that. Mind becomes, and it goes into settles down. The locus of the mind in the sleep state is the heart. And I am still there as pure existence. Sat Chit Ananda is my Swarupam. I didn't know that. This knowledge I didn't have. Now I know that I am that pure Swarupam, Atma Swarupam. I know the entire experiences of the mind 5 years ago, 2 years ago, last week, and then maybe tomorrow, after tomorrow, experiences of the mind will continue. But I am not going to give it much importance to my experiences because I have come to know my Swarupam as a. This knowledge gives me the distance between me and the mind. I remain as Sakshi. Okay, fine, things have happened. It will still happen tomorrow also. Remain as Sakshi ever. That is our intrinsic nature. The moment you say Sakshi is my real nature, and I will remain, I abide in it. That is what is called as Jivan Mukti stage. Good. Manikandan, I'm very happy you have raised this question. It's a very big obstacle for all the seekers. Anybody else? So we will continue maybe another two, 3 sessions, I think, for the next, by the time we'll finish Tattvabodha, and 2, 3 sessions, I think. And then we'll see what we should study next. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Sagarji. Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaskar,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.